Okay, story time about Jesus. Language warning. Sorry, I do try. I'm working on it. There's a story in the Bible about Jesus where he's in this place. He's out with his disciples, all wandering around doing stuff. And all the Pharisees and all them, they're a little worried about him. They bring in this woman. Now, if you read that Bible the way it's meant to be read, she's probably butt naked, been pulled off of this dude. They throw her in front of him. In front of like 1,000 people. There's not 10 people there. Jesus was followed by everyone. He could barely get around. There were so many people. Read the Bible. Look it up yourself. They throw this poor naked chick with well, it was in the very act. Throw in front of them and say, you know what? The book of Moses, the law says she's committing adultery. We are to stone her to death. And if you are God, if you are who gave us the law, then you tell us not to. And they're picking up rocks, man. They're ready to throw this poor naked woman who is scared to death, beat her and kill her because of Jesus. They're ready to do that to this woman in front of this whole group of people, and there are lots of them, to disprove him, to do anything to make it so he isn't believed. They have to show the world he's not God. They have to show that. They have to show everything he's done is wrong. And it's all bullshit, and this is where it is. And you know what he does? He sits down and he writes on the ground with his finger. And he plays around in the dirt, and he stands there, and then he sits there, and they all sit back going, what is this man doing? This is like the people who ran the country. This would be like the Congress coming up and doing this. I mean, you don't understand. These weren't small people. These were the people who ran the country. And he just writes in the dirt. And there's so many theories about that. And you know what it all comes down to, and this is how I feel. He's writing in the dirt. He's scribbling anything in the world, thinking, and this is what I believe Jesus had in his head. Number one, he's like, you little bastards. Because Jesus is your dad. You need to understand that. When these people are like, oh, we believe in this, that, and the other. No, Jesus is your daddy, and he thinks about you that way. Why didn't you bring the guy? Oh, you want to make a point. And this is the way to do it. With a poor naked woman dripping with whatever, you're going to throw her down so everyone comes and looks. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to scribble on the ground because you don't get to talk to me that way. I'm your father. You don't get to talk to me that way. So then he stands back up and says, all right, all of you people, whoever is without sin, because that is what you're doing. You're saying only the people. In order for you to throw rocks at this poor woman you drug in front of me, you need to show that you are without sin in this. And I believe that. Everybody says without sin in your life. No, I don't think that's what Jesus meant, because why would he be here if everybody was without sin in their life? I believe in my heart he meant you're without sin in this incident, which goes back to the way your dad would think, why the hell didn't you bring the guy too? And they all had to stand there, and them old men are like, okay, well, yeah, okay, I guess the crowd's going to see it that way too, because it does make sense in the whole of life, sin. But it makes more sense in that, why didn't you bring the guy too? That's the way I look at that Bible. I've read it so many times. My grandfather did. Even through high school, one chapter a day. And I was never a good kid. I never even graduated high school. It didn't matter. I read that Bible every day, and it's got me through so much. So back to the story. So this woman is sitting there, and he says, okay, whoever's without sin in this, go ahead. Throw the rocks at her right now. Let's all see you do it. Let's all see you throw rocks at that poor naked woman you just threw on the ground in front of us to make a point. And what do? The old men are like, okay, I got to live in this town. And the other people are like, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, maybe that's wrong. But it did. it also would cut them to the quick because it made you look at what you were doing. That's what Jesus does. He makes you see what you're doing. There's no crap. He's like your dad. You know, I heard I never had a dad who loved me, straight up. But I had Jesus and I had my grandfather and a couple of good men along the way. But your dad's going to love you, but he's not going to put up with your crap. He's going to see straight through you. And he's going to cut you deep. That's what they mean when Jesus had a sword in his mouth. He cut you deep. So all these people walk away, and that poor naked woman, I'm sure one of the disciples ran up and gave her a coat. And she looks up. I mean, this woman's scared to death. She was about to be beaten to death with rocks to make a point, and she knew it. Can you imagine that humiliation? And just like Daddy, Jesus said, get up. Where's the people who accused you? They're gone. It's okay. But don't do it no more. Don't sin no more. Just like your daddy would. Once he helps you through the situation, once he gets you all the way gone, once he puts his foot into this and says, I'm all the way in with you, he's still going to look at you at the end of the day and go, but you need to do the right damn thing. Because I ain't always going to be here to help you. Once you start looking at Jesus that way, it opens up a whole new world. You start to realize that just like me, you fall down on your face every damn day of your life. Every day of your life. Till you get to heaven. Be a hard ass. I'm a Jesus freak. Ready, set, go.